Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Reneé, and today is simply about the dancers today. Yes, the dancers. Who are you? Anybody that's in and out of dance class. I don't care what style of dance you take, if you're in and out of class or perhaps in and out of rehearsals or auditions. This is the time for you to take a little bit of me time, to not have to push for anything, to not have to reach for anything, but simply to flow in, to work on your fascia, your joint, and not so much pushing to the limit. We want to slow down everything. That includes our minds, our bodies, and just the idea that we have to be go, 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 or the idea that we need to be catching on to choreo or retaining something, right? So let all of that go. The only thing I would maybe suggest for this practice outside of just your mat and your body is you can grab some blocks if you feel like you might want some extra support in some of the poses. Other than that, grab what you need and I'll see you on the mat. We're going to start today by welcoming ourselves to our mats. I'm going to start in a nice seated position. You can do this without a block. I just chose to use a block today because I'd like the hips a little higher just to start. And I'm really just taking this moment to get rooted in my seat. Energy from the tail of the spine all the way up to the crown of your head, really feeling your sit bones. If you feel like you're still trying to find a good, comfortable seat, maybe lift the fleshy parts of your glutes away so you can really get rooted and feel those sit bones. And just start to connect to your inhale and your exhale. Big inhales in through the nose, long exhales out through the mouth. Remembering that you are taking this time for you and you only. We're getting ourselves out of the yang energy, especially as dancers, that we tend to find ourselves in. So whether that is learning, retaining, moving quickly, moving intentionally with drama or meaning, that can take a lot out of us as dancers, performers, students. Now you can stay on your block if you would like, if you chose to sit on a block to start, or you can come down to sit directly on your sit bones onto the mat. We're going to start with a simple butterfly. Soles of the feet together. Reaching your hands out in front of you as far as you can. But also remember, the point of this practice is not to feel like you need to go above and beyond. You want to meet yourself and your body where you are. So if you are a dancer and you are new to Yin Yoga, this should feel on a scale of 10 in terms of sensation, about 5 or 6. We never want to be at an 8, and we definitely don't want to be at 10, which would be ouch, pain, sharpness, something that does not feel good at all. I'm going to leave you here for a moment. Stay connected to your breath. If you find yourself fidgeting, try and find a place in this pose where you can find stillness. Gently start to walk your hands back slowly towards the center of the body. And we're going to come to our hands and knees, hips above the knees, shoulders above the wrist. And just go ahead and find a simple cat and cow here. Big inhale as you look towards the sky. Long exhale as you start to round that spine and go concave. Doing this a few times at your own pace. I also fully understand what it's like to be a mover or a dancer. So if you feel like you want to add, some neck circles or hip circles, or just undulate the body a little bit, you're more than welcome to. Still keeping the shape of your cat and cow and keeping the breath. Once you have found a neutral spine, we're going to take our right arm up towards the sky and thread the needle, sliding that right arm behind the left. Your right palm is facing the ceiling, and you can reach that left hand out in front of you if you'd like. So when we are threading the needle here, we are going for a sensation in the upper back. You might feel it in the scapula area. You might feel it higher up in your shoulder. But the key here to really maintain the stretch so you're getting the sensation you need is to make sure that your hips are not shifting too far over. So you want to kind of maintain your hips center. So if you feel your hips are shifting to the left at all, that's totally natural. Just be conscious of it and try and just make sure they shift back to the center, so we're keeping the integrity of the thread the needle pose. Resting the head, the side of the head on the mat. Really staying connected to the breath. If reaching the left arm out feels uncomfortable or like it's too intense, just bring that hand back closer in front of you, closer to your head. Take your time by bringing that left hand back in towards the body and coming back to a neutral spine before we thread the needle on the other side, raising the left hand towards the sky and sliding it behind the right. Same thing applies on this side. Make sure not to lean your hips in the direction that you've sent your left arm, but trying to maintain those hips center above the knees. Beautiful, friends. Bring that arm back close to the face and come out of the pose, finding a neutral spine. From here, We're going to place the right foot in between our hands. Just go and find a basic dragon pose here. So what that means is back leg, back knee on the ground. Doing your best to get the knee above the ankle on that right foot. And think of focusing that left hip flexor towards your mat. If you do need blocks underneath your hands, you can take a block underneath each hand. This next part is completely optional. You can find Twisted Dragon by taking your right hand and grabbing that back foot. As you twist and look towards the ceiling, your chest remains open. So don't go concave, don't collapse towards that front leg. You want to keep the chest nice and open. This is totally optional. If this feels like too much, your body will probably tell you, and it'll probably be extremely hard to hold the pose. And in Yin Yoga, we are aiming for stillness. So if you can't hold a pose and you need to constantly move, then you've gone too far. Go ahead and release Twisted Dragon if you found that for yourself. Come back to hands and knees for a moment, shake it out. And then we're going to do the same exact thing, finding our basic dragon pose with our left foot in between the hands this time. The reason why dragon poses can be great for dancers is because we are athletes that kind of use all the muscle groups at once, and we tend to forget that. And this is one of those things where we're getting our bang for our buck here. So you're getting a little hamstring love, you're getting some hip flexor love. And if you're going to go for Twisted Dragon on this side, you're going to take that left hand, grab that back foot. And then now you're also getting some quad love here, opening that chest. That twist allows a little bit of a stretch in the upper body. And you may even be getting a bit of a psoas or deep hip flexor stretch as you go into Twisted Dragon as well. Still maintaining hamstring stretch with the front leg. Go ahead and release that back leg slowly and gently, and come back to all fours. We're going to widen the knees as wide as your mat. Sit as close to your heels as you can, and then go ahead and find child's pose, reaching the hands out in front, resting your forehead on the mat. Keeping your child's pose position, simply walk your hands over to your right. This is allowing for a nice side body stretch. We forget how much we use our obliques and the sides of our bodies. This is a very simple way to address it. Then just walk your hands to the other side. And when you feel like you're in a good space, you can rest your head on the mat. Make your way back to the center and bring your hands back towards the body. We are going to come into a nice straddle, sitting up nice and tall, bringing the legs nice and wide, toes towards the ceiling. And all you're going to do is walk your hands out in front of you. We're getting the inner thighs, the groin area. Some may even feel this in the hamstrings as well. Remember, if you feel like you're struggling, you're fighting to stay still, you're fighting not to fidget, you've gone too far. It's okay to maybe bring the hands back a little closer to the body. And if you're very limber and want to bring the chest down to the floor, you're more than welcome to. Awesome, friends. Start to walk your hands back into the center of the body. Gently close the legs. Give yourself a moment before we head on to our stomachs, onto the tummy. Get comfortable before we find our shoulders above the elbows here in Sphinx pose. You want a softness in the legs. Think of the pelvic area as going towards your mat. You don't want any pinching or pain in the low back. So if that means that you need to shift your hands a little further away from you, then do so that you can find a moderate place to be that is not causing you any low back discomfort or pain. If you'd like to reach your hands out for a bit of a deeper sensation, you can bring your hands out in front of you, elbows off of the mat into seal pose. If this is very uncomfortable for you, just go back to Sphinx and hold it. If you are in seal pose, gently bring the elbows back down towards the mat. Come onto your backs. Get comfortable. And then go ahead and take that right foot flexed slightly above that left knee as if you're in a figure four. And then we're finding an IT band stretch by letting our entire lower body just fall over to the left. You can see me here, just placing my left hand around my knee area. You can reach towards the ankle if that works for you as well, of that right foot. But I'm doing this so that my knee doesn't feel the need to drop or droop towards the floor. The way we're going to feel what we need to feel in this pose is to do our best to keep that right knee as upright facing the ceiling as we can. Take your time using a little bit of your core to bring the legs back up towards center and switch feet and fall into the opposite direction once again, using the right hand this time to just make sure that we can keep our knee towards the sky if we need a little help. All right, friends, shift your weight back to the center, release the leg, and we're gonna find our last pose, Savasana, today. Do all your fidgeting now, get comfortable, take up space. Maybe you wanna take a big inhale as you lift the shoulders up towards the ears and roll them back down so that your shoulders are away from your ears. Feet in their natural turnout, just let them flop. If you feel like you need some grounding, you are welcome to place the palms on the ground. If you feel like you need to be on the receiving end today, just have the palms facing up. This is your time to feel the effects of the sequence in our practice today. Be with your body. Connect to your breath. If there are any thoughts that arise or you feel like you can't quite quiet the mind, bring your focus back to the breath. That's always a great place to start. It's totally natural when we, as humans, in a very young state most of the day, in our daily lives, it can be hard to slow down. And that includes our minds. So thoughts are normal. Let them pass. Realize that you've acknowledged the thought. It's not a bad thing. Come back to the focus on your inhale and exhale. If you ever feel like you find yourself thinking about what's going on tomorrow, thinking about what's for dinner, trying to remember that last bit of choreo you learned at the end of the day, take this time to acknowledge, I thought about that, let it go, be present. Start to find some movement in your fingers and your toes. Maybe start to bring some wrist action in there. Maybe rolling the ankles. You're welcome to reach the arms above your head and get a nice stretch. If a yawn comes out, let it come. Roll over onto your side into a nice little fetal position and just take a beat here. When you're ready, slowly start to make your way to a nice seated position, like how we started. Sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take 3 deep breaths together to finish. Inhale, sealing this beautiful energy. Exhale as you come to your heart center. 2 more times. Big inhale. And exhale. Let it all go. And this last one, we're going to inhale light. And exhale any negative or dark. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this has helped you in some way. Be well, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next video.